Bravo has wrapped off Season 12 of Below Deck. The majority of viewers believed that this season was almost unwatchable because it felt like a strange break from the norm overall. But this season, not everything was a wash. As this season went on, however, positive plot lines also surfaced, which kept the majority of people interested. Which plots, then, were effective, and which made me long for the times when firings were given out like candy? We shall now address these simple questions. In the meantime, I'm hoping that Below Deck's upcoming season performs better than Season 12. The events of Below Deck Season 12 were filled with highs and lows. We were fortunate to witness numerous fair displays of drama, emotions, anger, and most importantly, heart during each of these uncertain moments. Below Deck has a successful plotline if you take the positive and the negative. Here are the highlights and low points of this series' history. From an odd but heartwarming friendship to a suspenseful redemption season that also included one of the most difficult and arduous stews this genre has ever seen. In Season 11, Fraser Olender and Anthony Iracane collaborated. Fraser didn't like Anthony's methods back then. Fraser found himself speaking openly to their supervisor after multiple stressful dinner services that Fraser felt were subpar, and as a result, Anthony was fired. However, Fraser found himself back in the wheelhouse, demanding that Anthony be hired again after Season 12 brought in a new chef who had a similar problem. Fortunately, his approach was successful. Their bond changed after a few tense weeks, placing these men in a stable, endearing position. This plotline is one of my favorites of the season, since, by the last episode, Fraser and Anthony were hugging, exchanging talking heads, and complimenting one another on their hard work. As previously mentioned, Anthony experienced a lot of stress during Season 11. In the end, it resulted in numerous scheduling problems, disregard for dietary requirements, and an increase in the galley's general stress levels. Fraser mentioned in Season 12 that Anthony handled this criticism well, and based on what he had heard, he was currently doing well on other ships. When Anthony returned to the team, he sautéed and dominated, establishing himself as one of the franchise's top cooks. It was not an easy debut season for Rainbow DeRusse. We will now acknowledge that Rainbow's initial relationship with Solène was not positive. Yes, her tone was harsh, but as we all soon discovered, any tone employed with Solène, as long as Rainbow was speaking, landed badly, so we can't have this on her angry mind any longer. Rainbow immediately threw herself into overdrive after understanding that Solène was not present to put in a lot of effort. She exhausted herself working. Additionally, many viewers laughed and cheered for the yachty Rainbow even more when Solène demonstrated the contrary at the end of Season 12 with her sardonic remarks and outright reluctance to forgive Solène. A series called Below Deck used to describe the inner workings of yachts. But Season 12 fell well short of this goal. I hold the production crew partially responsible. Why did this series used to include so many Instagram postings, hurried sequences in the charter, and so few instructional moments in this industry? Rather, the cameras decided to concentrate on scene after scene of unsuccessful couplings. Furthermore, although some firings did occur, one was clearly not. Many viewers ended up shutting off their screens as a result. There's a limit to how much drama fans are ready to take in.